What's up, guys? Back in the cage today, and we got the 2025 Easton Hype Fire. And let's go take some swings and let's get into it. Swing it really hard. Like that. Like that.
What's going on, guys? Back in the office again today. After getting, it feels like it's been a while with the bat release season. We were swinging a ton of bats all back to back to back. And then there was kind of a little bit of a lull, but we got back out here now. I got to swing the new Hype Fire. I say new, it for all intents and purposes, it's probably just a repainted Hype Fire. It sounds the exact same as the old one. Lucas said it feels very similar. It has been about a year since he swung the Hype Fire. He swung it in his fall 9U season. So it was his gamer then. That was kind of like when they were first released. It was like when they first came out. So, but yeah, he actually had a really good season with it back then. But I think a lot of the Hype Fire's recognition comes from the Drop 5. The Drop 5 is a very different bat than the Drop 10 and Drop 8. I think that a lot of people buy the Drop 10 and Drop 8 thinking it's the exact same bat when it's not. I hear a lot of people say, a lot of kids that review the Drop 5 or guys that review the Drop 5 will say it's a very end-loaded bat, very, like kind of almost heavy. What's funny is the Drop 10 version, Drop 8 version are kind of the opposite, I would say. They almost swing a little bit more light and balanced compared to some of the other bats. I think that Lucas thought it was very easy to swing, was getting some good barrels with it. You can definitely tell, I mean, you can probably hear it in the video, it does have a little bit of that tinkiness, it's definitely not broken in composite yet. So I think that is one thing in the Drop 10 and Drop 8 Hype Fires, is that they do take a lot longer to break in than the Drop 5s. I think that you can take BP and game these bats in the Drop 10 and Drop 8. Whereas the Drop 5, I think that you probably only want to use it as a game bat. That being said, I do still think it's a very good option. I think that it's right along there with most of the other composite options. I do think that it does take a little bit more break in. We've seen a couple bats a little bit more hot out of the barrel, or out of the bag rather. But all in all, really did think it is still a very good option. Very easy to swing. In the drop 10, drop 8, has a nice light barrel, good sweet spot. Lucas was catching a lot of barrels, had a really high average exit velocity with it. And he did mention that he liked it. He mentioned that he still would probably game his icon over this, but he did like it. So he mentioned that it was right up there with how he liked the icon. But I think the icon, what's funny is in the drop 10 and drop 8 space, I think the icons swing a little bit heavier than the hype fire does. So it's kind of flip flopped versus the drop 5 space. So, and he likes a little bit heavier of a bat, one that swings a little bit heavier. So yeah, all in all, guys, really good bat from Easton. Still, I see a lot of people online say the drop 10 and drop 8 of the hype fire aren't any good. That's not true. It just takes more break in, and it's not quite as hot, but I mean, none really are, as the drop 5 version. Drop 5 is where these bats become really hot because you essentially have some kids that are on the verge of being grown men, in 12U and 13U. You're starting to see kids that are over 6 foot tall and stuff, and over 200 pounds swinging these bats, and that's when they become so crazy hot. The drop 10 and drop 8 versions are just a lot different than the drop 5 versions. So, all in all, still a very good bat. In drop 10 and drop 8, this can be your gamer and your BP bat. I would not worry about durability in drop 10 and drop 8 with this bat like you have to in drop 5. So, all in all, good bat, Easton. I do actually like this colorway a little bit more than the other one. I think it looks a little bit more clean. Yeah, good bet. As always, guys, any questions or comments, throw them down there, answer everything, and like and subscribe, and we'll see you on the field.